This is a 3.
Okay.
I think is how it is on YouTube.
So are we playing this 3?
Oh my god, go in.
Oh my!
Welcome to the Back 9 Gaming Tour. I'm your host, Ryan. If you haven't already, go ahead and go check out the front 9 of this same tour. The first round, playing out at McCord Park in Little Elm, Texas. I think I said Allen in the front 9, but it's all good. We're learning and we're figuring things out as we're going along. Through the first 9 holes, Jacob and Caitlin are tied at 3 under. Caitlin's at 2 under. Me and Jared are tied at 1 under. Rhett and Corbin are 1 shot apart at 2 over and 3 over. Jared starting us off on hole 10 here. Par 3, we got a creek that's basically kind of around all sides of it. It doesn't really come into play unless you go probably 100 feet deep.
Oh, it's so good.
He puts it up there to about 10 feet. Caithin skips his little backhand up there. Definitely looked closer from the tee like we all thought, but still a great shot. Doesn't roll into the river. Kalen throws his forehand a little high, but gets really lucky, hits the guardian tree. Rolls back, should have an edge of circle putt for birdie. I'm throwing my Phoenix. Just let it go a little bit wide, and it hangs up there on the edge right next to Ivy, who's doing our catch cam footage today. Jacob's up, throws his EMAC Truth on a beautiful little backhand right to Ivy's feet. Rhett with a Star Wraith, I believe. Nice little forehand, plays up there, inside circle. And Corbin gets an early release. That's just kind of been his miss today. Gets 2 bad skips into the water. It's too murky. We can't find it, so he's going to have to be putting from probably outside circle for par. Kalen's first up to putt. Leaves his just a little bit short. Hits the cage. I'm up. And just drain it from, I don't know, 28 feet or so. Awkward stance for me, so that felt really, really good to get that off my chest. Rhett just doesn't give his the beans. Jared knocks down his birdie. And then Rhett just misses right. He's going to have a tap-in bogey. Caithin from about 15 feet knocks down his birdie. So Caithin moves into a 3-way tie for the lead. Jared and I stay tied, and Rhett and Corbin stay where they're at. On to hole 11. This one is just a short, easy toss from the short tees where we're playing today. Barely over 100 feet. Jared going with his K1 Berg. Gets it pretty close, hits a tree, settles up nicely. Doesn't go into the creek. Caithin's up next. He's throwing his freaky zone. As a lefty, it plays nicely for him because he's got way more space to miss over there to the left of the basket. So I follow him. I go with a backhand. Play my space over there. And luckily Ivy is there to save me. He's kind of been in the right spot for a couple of us today. Kalen leaves his just a little wide, catches a little branch, hits the tree. Rhett throws his pretty nicely. Settles up there for par. Jacob does the same thing as Kalen. Just a little bit wide. Hits a tree, just kicks a little wider. And then Corbin comes up here and just absolutely parks it. Just right underneath the cage, basically. Great shot by him. Jacob's up first to putt. Probably edge of circle. Had the height, but just hit off the basket. Almost got a really unfortunate roll, but ended up staying safe. Kalen knocks down his birdie. I knock down my birdie. Rhett knocks down his birdie. Jared does the same. Kathan does the same. And Corbin's got his tap in for birdie there. So the whole card picks up a shot on Jacob. And advances over to hole number 12. Now moving on to hole number 12. Another fairly short par 3, but again has creek going behind it that's long, that is very easy to fall into from where we're at. Jared goes with his Get Freaky Glow Zone, gets it up there nice and close. Kalen going with his TI Zone, gets up there inside circle, probably 25 feet or so. Kathan going with his Get Freaky Zone. Lets it go a little early, but gets a really nice skip and a bounce and is just has a nice easy shot from there. I go with my Berg, get it on a little bit too much Anheuser, miss out to the left. Rhett throws his zone, gets around the tree but skips off to the right. Corbin goes backhand putter, keeps it low, gets a good Annie skip. Stays safe from the creek. Jacob goes with the backhand putter. Gets a good skip, and you can't really tell, but that's really easily within side circle. I just didn't even touch the chains or anything with that putt. But luckily I stayed up. But Rhett does not get the same love. Goes deep and falls into the water, so he's going to be dropping 3 and putting for par. Kalen, just a little too floaty, front edge of the cage, and it starts to roll, but just curls up at the right time and stays safe.
Well, I used to have hair down to here.
Jared knocks down another
Literally
birdie
like
putt.
2 weeks ago.
Kalen makes the uphill comebacker. Rhett knocks down his bogey putt. I did not give that enough height by any means. Jacob knocks down his birdie. Corbin knocks down his birdie. Or his par, I believe. So Kathan jumps out to the lead. Solo first. At 5 under. Jared's first on the tee here at 13. Guess what? Creek is playing again. But this time it's down the right side. This is kind of a peninsula green. As you can tell, there's kind of like a little washout thing that goes right there just in front of it. Jared gets out there inside circle. Kathan comes up, throws his buzz, and it catches edge and settles down just before going into the gully right there. Jacob goes with a big overhand. It doesn't quite pan enough. Stays up there up the hill on the left side. Kalen going with a forehand undertaker here. And just gets it on Anheuser too much. Goes over there to the left underneath the fence, which we were playing out of bounds up there on the left side. Rhett almost has the same unfortunate thing happen, but hits the fence, stays in bounds. Corbin going backhand, gets across the creek just barely. I get really aggressive, feeling like I've got to make up some ground, and I throw a nice wide hyzer. It ends up going over the basket. It's a Proto Athena. So Kalen's first up. Throws his putter. Probably leaves something to be desired. With a death putt with the creek behind it, I just lay up and take my par. Kathan gives it a good run. He's going to be able to make par from there. Rhett gives it a good run, not getting too aggressive. So Kaylin's here putting for bogey and just puts it a little too high. But again, stays out of the creek. Jacob gets up there, throws his putt up nice and close. So Jared to get a stroke at a minimum on the card. Gets some love from the basket, catches it on the edge. Rest of us go and tap out our putts.
Well, everyone had already thrown 2 shots by the time you see your first.
Rhett ended up missing that short putt and takes a bogey there. But other than that, everything was pretty good. If y'all can't tell, some of the editing in the videos and everything got better as we got further along. This is the first time I've ever tried putting something together like this, and so I appreciate y'all's patience, and I'm looking forward to getting better and improving with each round, hopefully. Jared pulled his drive there just a little bit to the right, hits an early tree, gets knocked down, but stays on the left side of that tree, which is good because this hole is playing as a par 4. It's only about 330 or so feet, but it plays up this tunnel and then up to the left on a hill. Jacob just early releases this one super early, gets a skip across the way into the tall grass. I'm going with my ESP Zeus. I throw it just a little bit too nose up. Hit a tree, but I got down the tunnel pretty far. Rhett throws a very nice and flat wraith shot. Gets a good skip, gets to the edge of the tunnel. He should have a really good look to get up to the green from there. And Corbin just has his same miss that he's been having today. Early release is over there next to Jacob, almost on top of one another over there on the left side. Kaylin going Hades. It flips for him, but it's just a little nose up. Hits a tree and gets knocked down right there behind Kathan's shot. Jared throws that up shot just a little inside, hits a tree. Kaylin gets up there, hits the same tree that Jared hit. I'm throwing my Lone Star Walker. Get up there next to the basket, skips up. But I'm going to have a really awkward lie for a birdie putt from there. Kathan just tries to pitch out, throws a little forehand, and then just gets a little bit left over there. Jacob decides to go putter, hammer shot, and parks the basket. We didn't get the shot, but Corbin does the same thing. We all thought that they were just stuck in jail over there, and they had 2 of the greatest shots of the day from over there, honestly, in my opinion. Kaylin and Kathan both pitch up there to be able to take the easy 4. Jared doing the same. This is certainly a hole where a birdie is gettable. I just had an awkward lie, threw it high, hit top band. But Rhett takes a birdie. Corbin takes a birdie, and Jacob takes a birdie. And the rest of us all take par here. Playing as a 4, it's pretty soft. Probably should be a 3, but it's a good, challenging hole. So through 14, we got a 3-way tie between Jared, Jacob, and Kathan, all at 5 under. A lot of ground for me and Kaylin to make up, it felt like, at this point. Kaylin throws a forehand, just catches up in the limbs up there in the tunnel. This one's just straight ahead, but it's a pretty tight tunnel shot. There is a gap that you can hit over here to the left side that they're trying to hit with the forehand. But Kaylin and Rhett both just get a little bit too nose up and throw it up into the trees instead. Corbin's going with the backhand. pulls it just a little bit. Hits off to the left side. Kathan takes that left side gap, but just a little nose up. Jared goes forehand with the Raptor and skips almost down into the creek, but is just saved by the grass. Stays out of the water, stays safe. Jacob gets up, backhand putter, turns it over nicely. Settles it up there just past the pin. I throw a lobster. It flips up, misses way right. I get a lucky skip and skip across the creek. Whenever we first played this hole, we didn't realize that the OB was actually anywhere past the creek. We'd just been playing the creek as being OB in it. Now, none of us had gone across the creek yet at this point. And so I was the first one to go across the creek, so I originally played it from the spot. We ended up seeing that it was out of bounds being over there, so I went back and I played it from over there. Jared gives his birdie bid a good run there. Kalen got a very unfortunate roll in his upshot to this side where he's at, and then just misses left side chains. Here's Jacob for birdie. Just hits off top band. Kathan saves his par.
That hard, Ryan.
Jared saves his par. Jacob makes his par. And that's me having to go back and play from where I went out of bounds to save par. So the top three stay the same. Kalen takes a bogey. And Rhett takes another couple of shots, going on to 16. So we were playing this pretty casually. We weren't too worried about correct tee orders or anything. We're going to try and be a little bit better about that as this goes on.
This is a 3.
It was more of a
I think is
time
how it is
constraint
on
kind of thing.
So are we playing get us 3?
Oh my god, go in.
Oh my.
Just off the basket for me. This is actually the second time in a row whenever I've played this course that I've done this on this very same hole. Just got aggressive there, wanting to make up a couple of shots to try and get into the lead, or at least get into a tie for the lead. Got really lucky that I hit the basket, because otherwise I probably would have been out of bounds in the creek. Kalen goes forehand destroyer, gets caught up in the trees, lands just at the base of the hill. Kathan goes backhand buzz, gets it turned over just a little bit, and squeaks across into the tall grass over there. Corbin just let it go early, hits a tree and gets knocked down real close. Jacob going with his felon. Gets on a lot of Anheuser and it starts to fight back. And it gets up there just on the edge of that grass on the side of the hill.
Dog collars for my mom.
Kalen gives it a good run and luckily doesn't get a ugly roll away or anything like that. This is where Corbin's upshot landed. Sent the putt just past the basket. Rhett's tee shot was up here. Lays up there. Jacob gives it a run. It looks like it almost wants to get up on edge, but decides not to. Kathan getting aggressive, and then just ends up paying the price. Gets on edge and rolls all the way down to the bottom of the hill. So he's going to have an uphill putt coming back for par from there. Jared playing the smart game, just lays up. Doesn't want any crazy rollaways. Kathan does give it a good run. Has a tap-in bogey. And I get a stroke on the card by making the only birdie. So Kathan drops out of that tie for first. Jacob and Jared stay up at the top. Corbin and Rhett stay where they are. And I get a stroke on Kalen. Going into hole 17. Downhill, should be a pretty easy pitch from where we're at. Going Luna, pull it a little inside, get lucky. Kalen goes Berg with a forehand, hits a couple roots and settles down, stays out of the creek. Jared goes a little bit past pin high, pretty good shot, should have a downhill putt from there. Jacob throws his putter, settles it up closely to the basket.
Right when you threw, I was zooming in, you stepped over and your ass went right in the right. So
Kalen going zone. Kathan going zone. I apologize.
Ryan's probably gonna save it for later.
Just gets it down there, hits a tree early. Rhett going Berg. Gets it way down there. Hits a couple of roots and it keeps him out of the creek. Corbin decides to go with the interesting play and goes Scoober. Rhett with just a huge putt right after Corbin had made his putt, so they both had circle 2 putts to make birdie. So Kalen's got to follow that up. Oh, and just hits off the front edge of the basket. So Kalen's going to take a par. I give it a run, but just miss it left. Got a little bit of work to do to take my par. Kathan just has an awkward lie and just hits off the front edge of the basket. And Kathan's going to take a par. At this point, we missed Jared's first putt. He'd actually gone over the basket and is down in the creek area, but he's dry as Jacob makes his birdie putt there. So Jared's going to have an uphill 25-footer to save par and to lose a stroke to the leader. And just absolutely cashes it. So Jacob's got a 1-stroke lead going into the last hole now. So, you know, it's in Jared's hands, basically. Kathan missed that easy birdie putt that kept me in it next to him. Corbin's up on the tee first. Pulls his forehand left. Almost throws it into the playground over there, but it ends up catching the rocks and settles down. Rhett throws a really nice forehand. Takes a skip. Right on the edge of circle, maybe just outside edge of circle 1. Jacob throws a nice truth shot, leaves it just a little short, but gets over the stump. Doesn't have to be too aggressive here, honestly. I go Phoenix on the wide side, get a nice skip up. Looked closer from the tee, but wasn't as close as I thought. Kalen going forehand. Just a little nose up again. Hits some trees, gets knocked down. Jared getting aggressive because he knows he has to make a birdie here. And just about aces right there. But he got a big skip and he should have about an 18 to 20 footer to make his birdie to try and force a playoff. Kathan threw his and just caught a tree. It was on a really good line though. Kalen lays up right there. Solid shot. Kathan just pulls his upshot a little bit left, which opens the door for me to be able to make my putt. Jacob gives his putt a decent run, but again, doesn't have to be too aggressive and just kind of leaves it in Jared's hands. Corbin gets a good upshot. I knocked down my birdie putt to put the pressure on Kathan. Kalen knocks down his par. Corbin knocks down his par. Rhett knocks down his par. Jacob knocks down his par. Kathan gives it a really good run, hits the basket, comes up just short. Now Jared to force the playoff. Nothing but chains, cash money. Puts himself into a tie to go back to hole number 1 between him and Jacob to see who's going to take home the inaugural amateur first round.
So there isn't a 52, so the number maybe 53.
So they flipped for tee order. Jared's up first, going with his glove, get freaky zone again. Almost puts it in the same exact spot that he did the first time through. Jacob going putter again. You know, is afraid of pulling it right and getting that really lucky hit that he got last time.
Yes.
So I think he just kind of let it go a little bit too early. Gets over here to the left side, but he's inside Jared's. About 25 feet here.
Oh shit! I can head home.
And same thing as the first time through on this hole. Just misses wide over the band. So leaving it in Jacob's hands.
You just gotta slam it in there.
Nothing but basket on that one. Didn't even hardly hit a chain. Congrats.
Yeah. I'll just have the baby in here with me. I don't care. All right. Tell me when to good. All right. Well, that's the end of the inaugural round of the AM Tours. Jacob here took it down in a 1-hole playoff. He and Jared tied at 6 under. And then we came over here to hole number 1 to finish it off. Jacob, how's it feel to win the first round?
I tell you what, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. I think I found my nut. It's a great feeling. And so I think I finally figured something out, got a little consistency. It was a great time being out here, but let's go!
What was your shot of the day? Your shot personally or anybody's shot? Doesn't matter.
My shot personally was that one, to sink that, to not even give him another chance. Shot of the day had to be yours, that on the fly hit the basket on hole 16. Hole 16, that close to an ace, about 3 inches. You know, imagine that. And so I would say that was probably the shot of the day. That was a hell of a shot.
So be on the lookout for the next round. You know, we're not really sure where we're going to play next. It might be out here on the long layout, but be on the lookout for the next one here in the next few weeks. Thanks.
Thank you, Dynamic Discs. If you want to sponsor me, go for it.